Viva Insights is a useful tool that helps boost your productivity. It provides insights into your productivity and personal well-being and offers features that helps to boost these areas of your work life. This walkthrough is going to help you make the most of the application. To launch Viva Insights, you can launch it via Microsoft Teams. Just come to the app button where I am, and then search in the search. You can search for Viva Insights in the search bar. Now we have it here. You just hit the open button to launch it. So on Viva Insights, there are four pages. We have home, well-being, productivity, and teamwork. We're going to walk through each of these ones. Each one has different cards with different features that provide different features. The home page draws from some of the other ones, so there might be repetitions as we move along. So anyone we've dealt with, we just keep. Now, to kick off, we'll start with the Start a Daily Focus Plan. This feature helps you setting hours between 1 and 4 hours within your work day for each work day of the week, each day of the week, Mondays through Fridays. It helps you set a focus time where you can do focus work. So you don't want your days drawn out where you're drawn in different directions and then you don't spend time on your priority tasks. So this helps you to set a time for that purpose. So to do that, you simply hit the set a daily focus plan button. The default time frame is 2 hours. So you can change the settings to what you want. Say you want 3 hours or you want 1 hour instead. You can decide what you want. And here you can allow it to send you reminders if there are conflicts that arise. Say maybe you've already set a time and then you're setting a meeting that conflicts with your focus time. It can notify you and let you know so you can make adjustments in that regard. Here you can set it to what you want. Here is on the default 2 hours, so you can decide if you want 1 hour, or say you can set it to 1 hour instead of two. You can also decide whether you want your focus time in the morning or in the afternoons, depending on when your day, perhaps your meetings. If your afternoons are heavy with meetings, then you want to set your focus time for the mornings, or um, if it's the other way around, then you can choose afternoon. Yeah, of course, you want to set your focus time after it's 8 a.m. You want it to set a time that is, you don't want it to set any time before 8 a.m. So, or if you want, if you don't want it to set a time earlier, than you can put a time frame for a start time from which it can set your meetings. You can put a start time of your choosing. And this would you can also set notification you can allow or disallow it from sending you notifications for while you're during your focus time. If maybe there are notifications for other meetings or other things that are calling for your attention, you can either mute those notifications or allow those notifications to be shown to you during your focus time. So after you set these parameters, you can save changes, and ideally this will be automatically reflected on your calendar. So you have, like, I have these set on my calendar. I can take out, say a time is not convenient for whatever reason. I have a meeting. I had already set a focus time, and then I have a meeting that I can't have this focus time. I can move it to another time here, or I can simply take out, I can delete, or I can also edit and adjust the time to what I want. Say I set 2 hours before, I can decide that I want 1 hour instead, or I want just 30 minutes of focus time, I can do that, and then I save, and then it's reflected here. So moving along, moving back to Viva Insights, still on the home page, we have insights into meetings that I've had over the course of the last 7 days. I've not had meetings, so I don't have anything there. Otherwise, I would have had insights into my meetings to tell me whether my meetings succeeded or or um, there are certain best practices for meetings that I didn't meet. We're going to see some of those criteria down there on the productivity page. Now, there are also meeting habits that it will also show my meeting habits, whether maybe I whether I showed up early for meetings or my meetings went overboard. I spent too much. I went over the time set for the meetings and so on and so forth. So as we go on, we'll see all of those. Here, this is a card where you can send you can send a praise to your colleague for a job well done. For instance, maybe they did something for you, and so you can just simply hit the send praise button, input their email address, and then you can say, you can hit thank you to say thank you. You can drop a little note. Thanks so much. And you can set the background color that you're choosing if you don't want the default. And then hit send. So your colleague gets this notice and feels good about their work day, hopefully. So Viva Insights also integrates with the Headspace application to provide certain certain maybe exercises for you to help you decompress. Maybe you could it could this will keep changing. It could be a 3 minute thing during the day, depending on the time of work day. It could be a 3 minute thing. It could be a 7 minute thing that shows up here, where it walks you through motivation. It walks you through a meditative exercise where you can just, or maybe a breathing exercise and so on. So you just hit the play button and then you can do that. Um, you also have a breakdown of how you spent your time during the week, how you collaborated, your communication time, or what time went into meetings, what time went into emails, what time went into chats, and then how much focus time you had. You also have some articles here that are drawn from different publications like the Harvard Business Review and so on that help with you, that give tips and advice on productivity and work-life balance and things along those lines. Now, moving on to the well-being page. Okay, you also have praise here. We've talked about this. You have for especially for those who are working virtually, you can have a virtual commute reminder. This is basically just telling you, okay, letting you know when um, your work day should be over. So you could set a reminder for it. Um, so you can set a reminder for 5 p.m. so that you know, so that you don't walk overboard and then you burn out. So you can set a reminder and then lets you know that this is you should be wrapping up. So it will give you normally it will give you something like a 30 minutes reminder before the time you set, so you can wrap up your work. Yeah. So moving on. You also have this card helps you reflect on your emotions for the day, and you can set a time, say at close to close of business, where you set a time, and then where it gives you a reminder, and then you can pick how you feel at that point in time. How you can state how you feel, maybe Are you feeling very good, neutral, bad, or very bad? So you can just set how you feel at that point in time. So this helps you. Maybe you can 7 days down the line, you can look back at the week and see how you felt throughout that week. And then you can decide if there was a particular reason, was it a particular project or was it a particular interaction or what could have caused that. So you can reflect and then you can make adjustments. If you need to have a conversation with a colleague on that note, then you can do something like that. So that's for well-being. Moving on to productivity. Productivity is all about meetings. So productivity shows based on certain criteria here, it shows you whether your meetings were a success or whether they were not. I have not had meetings recently, otherwise you would have seen green and green and or red check marks to show if I met each of my meetings met these parameters, whether they overlapped, whether I was multitasking during the meetings, whether I joined on time, whether there was high attendance for the meetings I set, whether I had situations where my meetings went beyond the time that was set. So based on those criteria, I'm going to get tips on how to improve my meetings and make them better. So moving on to teamwork. Teamwork basically just shows you how much time you spent collaborating with your colleagues, which colleagues you collaborated with, and how much time you spent. So it also has a card down here that shows you what you spent, what forms of collaborations you spent your time doing. Was it in how much time you spent in meetings, how much time you spent on emails, how much time you spent on chats, as well as the time you had for focused work. So this is about it. Give it a try and see your productivity and well-being improve. Thanks for your time.